Stuart Wallace of the New Economics Foundation says that we need a shift to a new system that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet. Our aim today is to encourage you to take part in telling a new story about how we want to live.
We need to change the way that we see mental health as a deficit to not as a deficit, to something that can support productivity.
Inclusion is very, very important to the human race. It's the reason why we're at the top of the food chain. Because one person cannot beat a lion in a fight, but 12 people can outsmart a lion.
Well, I came for the first time last year and I found it really valuable. I've been to a few conferences and this is the only one really that kind of provoked me to think about issues and really kind of gave me a different perspective on things.
I've really loved the energy at this conference. It's great. In contrast, I'm involved in some other conferences at the moment and within my own sort of education sector. And what's great about this conference, talking directly with employers, the energy and the openness to think differently and engage has just been phenomenal. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Age, colour, creed should make no difference at all. You should look at the person, and when you have got diversity in a workplace, it works better.
We've got to break down the stigma, we've got to break down taboo, we've got to persuade people that we've all got physical health and we've all got mental health, and we should be as open as we want to be about both, and it shouldn't be held against anybody.
For me, reminding us that all of the stuff that's changing right now in the world, technology, the fourth industrial revolution, actually we're in such privileged positions as HR professionals, and that everybody today was talking about, even in this world of digital, our job and organisations' jobs are to bring back the human aspect of work.
I just really love the atmosphere. The audience are so warm and they're so excited to learn and they're completely engaged. I love the Royal Geographical Society, it's just such a beautiful building.
For me, the highlight of today has been the talking around mental health and that stigma around it. Talking about the change of the narrative, so moving it from quite a negative language to really thinking about the positive of it.
So many highlights. I thought Lenny Henry was incredible. I mean, to see Othello in a building like this was extraordinary.
I enjoyed speaking to the audience. They were engaged and they wanted to hear what I had to say. I hope that they will take some of the ideas forward in the years to come. So today, I'm highlighting, for the love of Mike, the importance of diversity and inclusion, because the lack of it impacts on all aspects of our society.
I think actually being made to feel really uncomfortable by Lenny Henry. And I always think, you know, you're onto something when you're uncomfortable and you can't stop thinking about what you might need to do in your own organisation to make that better.
It's tremendous to salute the people at Changeboard who put this conference on, because for such a conference of such a scale, normally you'd have an events company of multiple sizes. What the people at Changeboard do to put on such an engaging, such an energised, such a thoughtful event, absolutely stunning.
We can harness that. We have to decide what the technology is going to be allowed to do and not allowed to do. And that's where I feel we're falling down.
So the panel today was about digital inclusion, and I suppose more broadly how technology, the digital world, is affecting us all. Yeah, from individuals in society to, of course, how it's affecting people at work.
We've got to seize this opportunity. We've got to take this opportunity to really address these issues collectively, talk about them influencing governments, regulators, everybody else.
It's really hard. There are so many highlights. Lenny Henry was just incredible. Margaret was so moving. I think most of the people in the conference probably had a tear in their eye. And Jeff and Alister were pretty amazing, so I think it's one of the best conferences so far.
Any kind of company, if you're going to do breakthrough, creative, interesting work, you too are going to hit that cloud. And you can either back out and never do anything interesting, or keep going because other people help you.
I found the conversations with Alister, Jeff and Alan really quite emotional. And then obviously finishing with Margaret as well to top it off the friendship. I actually had tears in my eyes.
I think we're so fortunate to have so many inspirational speakers, which not necessarily always come from human resources, but have an impact on what human resources has to do, which is make sure that people feel human.
Anybody thinking of attending next year's conference, don't miss it. You know, in a heartbeat, I'm going to be back, and you'd be crazy not to be here too. It's a fabulous experience,
personally and professionally.
Put it in your diary now. It's a very special day, an incredible mix of people to network with, have strong conversations with, and if the lineup is anything like this year, I mean, how you guys put it together year on, just building the quality of the speakers is fantastic.
The partnership's been fantastic. We bring along some of our guests, and there's an amazing array of different HR people that I don't know, so a brilliant chance to network and learn more broadly about what's going on in the business world.
It's one where you will not be wasting your time, and you'll go away a wiser and more passionate person at the end of it.
The delegate list for today, I mean, you know, before we came, obviously we had a look at the sorts of companies that were coming today, and it's really a vast array of different types of organisations, and probably one of the busiest events I've ever been to.
I love the event. This is actually my first time attending the Changeboard Future Talent event. I had heard in the past that it was a very good one to attend, and I've really been impressed with the level of executives that are attending today. I think that's a big differentiator from some of the other events that are in the space right now. So it's been very valuable.
As headline sponsors, this has been a culmination of a really positive engagement with Changeboard. You know, not only leading up to the event, but the opportunities of thinking about how we can shape some of the agenda. We've been able to enjoy hosting some lunches with some guests along the way.
But the problem with most conferences is there's not much before and there's not much after. They're at a point in time. So what we like about the Changeboard thing is all the work you know, the podcast, the deep thought about how the agenda works together. Then obviously the event itself has to be terrific. And then the follow-up to connect people afterwards. So it's not so much a conference as more of a kind of learning process. And we know, you know, from developmental processes for adults, that's how people do learn.
There's been an amazing energy in the room all day, and I'd like you to thank, I mean, Tim and all the speakers for just everything they've brought to us today. If you put your hands together, that would be great.